everyone, this is Pam, the Arctic Firefly, and today we're going to be playing around with vinyl. This is an example of one of the sheets of vinyl. I get my vinyl from expressionsvinyl.com. It's just, just vinyl sheets on paper backing, and it comes in a 12 by 24 sheet, so it's a big old long sheet, and you can cut it with your Cricut or cut it with scissors or whatever. I haven't tried much of anything. I do not know yet how this vinyl withstands weathering and such, like the vinyl you put on your vehicles. I'm going to make a few things for my snow machine, and I actually have one on there already that I stuck on there this weekend, and I'm going to see how that works before I try anything else. I'm thinking that it'll probably hold up okay because it sticks fairly well, but it'll be trial and error, and we're just going to have to see. Alright, so the first thing I do when I am going to cut with vinyl, to save my vinyl and not waste anything, I usually use white cardstock first. Cut my image, see what the sizing is, because, you never know. You think you know, but sometimes you don't. Trust me, I figured this out the hard way. Then it also depends on the cuts that you're using. I made something for my husband using the Paper Doll dress-up cartridge, and the accessories cuts are really small. So one thing that I made for him at 6 inches cut out huge, and then one thing that I made at 6 inches cut out really small. So I guess it just depends on, if it's an accessory to a cartridge, it's going to be a small cut to start off with because it's supposed to go to. I probably should have used my real dial size button for doing something like that, but I didn't even think about it. I never play with my real dial size button, honestly. So, like I said, I just don't play with it. Okay, to start off with, we are going to be using the Indie Art cartridge. If you know me, I'm a little bit of a punk girl at heart, so the Indie Art cartridge is actually one of my favorites. This one and the Rock Princess are both my favorites, and I will admit the Hannah Montana, I like the guitars, and I like, the tribal looking butterflies and everything that's on that one. So, these are my favorite cartridges. And for the Indie Art one, we are going to be using this little skull and crossbones. And if you do recall, I had this skull and crossbones on my white expression, and surprise, surprise, we are actually going to be making this for the green expression. This green expression. And as an example, this is something that I did a while back. I actually posted pictures of this on my blog in the very beginning, and this was made using vinyl. It's all green vinyl in the background, and then the Indie Art cartridge, I cut out the skull and crossbones, and then I used the Hannah Montana cartridge to cut out the electric guitar on flip. So it's supposed to go the other way, but then I flipped the image so it would go this way. And I like it. This was my first experiment with the vinyl, was creating this little, this little tin for all my tools and everything to sit here on my table. And it wasn't too bad. Obviously I recycled this tin can. It's probably from a can of corn. So that's, my first experiment with vinyl. So we are going to try, first, we are going to try cutting this out at 3 inches. I have my pressure all the way up. I have my blade housing set to 6. I wanted it to get a nice deep cut. And my speed is all the way down. It probably, with this skull and crossbones, I wouldn't have to worry about it. But it's better to be safe because you have the vinyl, which is obviously plasticky material, and the paper to cut through. So I always like to have it, just a little bit slower to cut through easier. So we'll go ahead and push my button, get this cut out, see if 3 inches works for what I want to do. I'm going to want to be sticking one up here on my lid, and then one on the door. Now I'm thinking that piece of paper that I had on there is not going to be big enough, but it'll still give me a fairly good idea as to how the size. And 3 inches looks like it might actually be a fairly good size for that. So I'll go ahead and hit stop, since I already know that we'll unload this. That 3 inches looks like it'll be a pretty good size, I think. Yeah, I think I could deal with 3 inches. Alright, so I'm gonna go ahead and get my pink piece of vinyl loaded on my mat, and we will be back. Okay, we're back. I have my bright pink neon, well, I guess it's not really a neon pink, but I got my dark pink vinyl all placed on my mat. I have it cut at about 6 3/4, just, you know, just big enough. But I wanted to show another example of what I've done with the vinyl. This is my Xbox 360 controller, and I stuck myself a little skull and crossbones on it with pink vinyl. Different shade of pink. This one's a lot lighter. And this is a bigger one without the bones on it. And I think it's absolutely adorable. I love skull and crossbones. They have to be cute and tasteful. I don't like the ugly, you know, the really ugly ones. They have to be round, nice and round, and cute and tasteful. So I do draw my lines on my skulls and crossbones. So, alright, so let's go ahead and get this one cut out. So, like I said, we have my size is up to 3. My pressure is all the way up. Speed is at a very minimum. My housing blade is set to 6. So I'll just go ahead and hit my skull and crossbones button there and hit cut. Alright, there's our first one. That's all cut out. I'm going to hit line return. And we are actually going to do this one more time. So we'll hit our repeat last button and then cut. Alright, now that we have our 2 skull and crossbone images cut out, we're just going to unload our paper. And we are going to move over a little bit. Okay, alright, now we have our images all laid out on our mat. So the first thing we're going to need to do is peel this off just like we would with a normal cutout with our Cricut. And then I usually take my little hooky dentist tool here, and we're going to want to get these other pieces out because these aren't part of our original image. They don't need to be there, and for our next step they need to be out. We're not going to be able to finish if they're in there. Okay, now what we have here is, this is transfer paper. You can also get this at expressionsvinyl.com. I purchased mine from Joann's in the little Provocraft plastic tube. It's usually 2 sheets per tube, and I think the vinyl, if you buy the Provocraft vinyl, I believe it's also 2 sheets. But honestly, it's a lot cheaper at Expressions Vinyl. I think it's like $2 a sheet, and if you get the Provocraft ones, which you might be able to use a coupon on them, I'm not sure, it's like $12 for a couple of sheets, and it's basically the exact same stuff. So, you're going to peel the backing, which is this part right here. Peel the backing away from the paper. And the paper is the part that you're going to need in order to position your decal, or whatever else you're going to use. Honestly, I recommend using the transfer paper. Yes, you can get away with it, but for proper positioning and to making it look a lot neater, you might want to use the transfer paper. Okay, so we will just place the transfer paper over our image like this. Give it a nice good rub, because you're going to want the vinyl to stick to it enough to be able to pull it off of the backing paper, which is still going to be stuck to the mat. Alright, and I'm going to have to cut these apart before I do anything with them. Oh, bugger. It's my new favorite phrase, bugger. And then my baby girl tells me, no bugger. It's really cute. Like, well, some things are a bugger baby. Some things are. Alright. And I'm just going to take my scissors here. Oh, give me a second. Alright. Just going to take my scissors here. And I'm going to cut this one in half. Like that. Now, is that not the neatest thing? So there is your decal, just like you would buy anywhere, you know, anywhere else. And I'm gonna hope that these weather well, at least for the ones that I stuck on my snow machine this weekend. Hoping that they'll last for quite a while. And we'll move our Cricut back over here into the view. And I think I'm going to do this opposite than I did with the white expression. I think I'm going to put this one right here. Little sticks like this one to give it a nice firm, hang on, let me move the camera over a little bit so you can see what I'm doing. I'm going to give it a nice firm rub. You want your image to really be stuck on there. And then another thing about the transfer paper is it's so much easier to get air bubbles out. All of your pieces are lined up exactly where they need to be. Alright. You just peel your transfer paper off. And ta-da! Let's move you over a little bit. Ta-da, 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 ta-da. And there we have it, the first decal decoration to the green Cricut using vinyl sheets from expressionsvinyl.com and our Indie Art Cricut cartridge. So I will put the other decal on off video to spare you guys some time. And this is actually going to be vinyl week, so I will probably do 1 or 2 more vinyl videos for you. So there will be today's video, Tuesday's video. There will probably be a video Thursday vinyl video, and maybe I'll even sneak in a video Saturday, or sneak in a Saturday video on decorating with vinyl. I'm not sure yet what I'm going to decorate with vinyl. I might just do a really quick rundown of the vinyl that I've put on mine and my husband's snow machines instead of doing an actual how-to. So, I hope you all have a wonderful day. Thank you.